President Trump is facing. Let's bring in our think tank tonight to talk about it. Joining us in Los Angeles, California, civil rights attorney, former criminal defense attorney DeWitt Lacy is with us. In Seattle, Washington, trial attorney Ann Bremner. And in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney and president of the Georgia Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Lawrence Zimmerman. You're not former president yet, are you?
No, I am former president.
He's now a former president. Okay.
I am.
We'll try not to confuse.
President.
Yep. We'll try not to confuse the two former presidents tonight. All right. DeWitt, let me start with you. Does this prove incitement, this video montage of what happened and what was said? Does it pass the Supreme Court's Brandenburg test for constitutionally protected speech? What did you see? What did you hear right there?
I will tell you unequivocally that absolutely it does. Now, of course, we're talking about a criminal standard, as you spoke about a little bit earlier, Vinny, and you know, this is not a criminal proceeding. So I do understand that. But given that that is probably...
Well, let's stop right there, because that's a great point. This isn't a criminal proceeding, but does the Constitution count? Because the Supreme Court was interpreting the First Amendment of the Constitution. So should the First Amendment apply to the impeachment proceedings?
Absolutely it should. There is not any other well-tested measure that the Senate is going to be able to use in order to, I guess, give a proper definition to the behavior that was exhibited in the video that we showed before. And I'll tell you why it shows incitement. Because there was, as the law requires, an inimical and imminent threat to the Congress and to the way the government does business. The former president absolutely knew that. He continued talking and telling people they needed to walk to the Capitol and fight like hell, fight to get their country back, or they're going to lose their country, even after he saw large swaths of this group of people who were there cheering on this pretty inciting speech. He saw them leaving and going to the Capitol and understood also that they had reached the door, because he continued to tweet, "Mike Pence is a traitor. Go get him." You know, these are the things.
He didn't say go get him.
Okay, sure.
But DeWitt, that's important, right? That's important, because go get him would be directing people to do something, which is part of what the Supreme Court requires, right? Directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action. So you've got producing imminent, you've got lawless action. The question is he directing people to do it?
I think you are at the point where you see the reaction. It's not as in Brandenburg, right? The case that you talked about earlier, Brandenburg v. Ohio, where you're talking about a KKK member who at some, time earlier on a different date suggested that if things keep going the way they will, then there will have to be some revisions taken. This was at the actual date of and in the same vicinity and area where he directed people to go to the Capitol and fight like hell. I think that's enough right there.
Okay, let me ask you, Ann Bremner, the fact that he also said, walk down there and peacefully and patriotically, does that count for anything?
I think it counts for a lot, Vinny. I mean, what I think some are losing sight of in terms of saying that this is so outrageous, and I'm not necessarily defending Trump, but I'm saying he has had these rallies all over the country for quite some time with all kinds of rhetoric and fiery speech and everything else, with these cheering crowds. And how many voted for him? 74 million that we heard about today from his defense lawyers. But it's the same kind of speech he's given. And the fact that they're in proximity to the Capitol and people took it too far, I think his defense is going to be, like you said before, did he say go do it? Did he direct go in there and disrupt these proceedings? Did he say go in there and make Mike Pence do something? And the answer is no. I think that's what we're going to hear. I watched all day today. I listened all day today. I was not impressed with the defense on the jurisdictional issues overall, but we'll see what's coming tomorrow. But I imagine that's the kind of defense we're going to hear.
Lawrence Zimmerman.